your wedding actually doesn't even revolve around your wedding dress that matches the curtains. It doesn't revolve around the Lamborghini that you pull up in front of the Gurdwara, or how the brothers in the milni, they're going to try to pick each other up. What do you revolve around when the lama are actually being read, when the kirtan is playing? You are revolving around Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Swaroop. And when we don't give importance to the Swaroop, then how can we expect those blessings to be able to enter into our heart? Pendulum has swung so far in the wrong direction. Sometimes it's important to create that awareness to bring it back into the right direction. How am I going to make the best of my Anand Karaj? How do I stand out and receive the blessings of my Guru, who is actually going to keep my marriage intact? When you want your wedding to happen at that beautiful destination, and even though the Sangat, the wise people, Akal Takht, through their hukamname, everybody is saying, please don't do this. The Sangat's heart is being hurt by the sacrilege of taking Guru Sahib's Swaroop to these locations. Is it really because of your ego, or is it because of something else? What is it that you're looking for in this marriage? The purpose of the Lama is not to get the most Instagram likes. The purpose of Lama is not to get the best photo ops. These trends come and go. And here's some more tips on how you can take the best out of your Anand Karaj as the days are approaching. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. If you're watching this video, by now you've probably already heard about the issues surrounding Sikh destination weddings. Now you might be getting married soon, or somebody that you know. So first of all, congratulations. In this video, let's talk about what the Anand Karaj actually means, its significance, and Guru Sahib Ji's Swaroop, the physical form of Guru Granth Sahib Ji's, and its role within the Anand Karaj, and why some things that we might be taking inspiration from society or our wider diaspora, how that might be actually sacrilege, what this means to you. And then we'll also dive into a little bit deeper on how you can make the best of your experience for the Anand Karaj. A few things have been happening around Surrey recently, and let's highlight a little bit of that to help put this into context. What's actually been happening recently is Anand Karajas have started to happen not only at destinations such as Mexico, Cancun, Puerto Rico, but actually in local areas where Guru Sahib's Swaroop is being taken to wineries or small farms, where not only is it specifically used for Anand Karajas, it's actually not, where other times parties are held at the same place. Alcohol is being used at the same place. Sometimes people are smoking and dancing and partying. Based on Akal Takht Sahib's Hukamnama and the Maryada, the code of conduct for Guru Sahib Sache Pacha Swaroop, it's forbidden to take Guru Sahib Ji to these sort of locations. And let's dive a little bit deeper into why this is beadbi. But before I touch on that, let me highlight a little bit of a positive story to help put some context on it. There was a Anand Karaj just happening, that was about to happen this past week. And it was meant to take place at a winery. And as you know, a winery is where wine is brewed, alcohol is made, sharab utte banai janti hai. And in this location, a wedding was being held. But it wasn't the family that was wanting to do the sacrilege or wanting to do beadbi. In fact, it was the Gurdwara Sahib that they talked to, and they were giving the wrong information. And this is how it actually played out, is when the organizers, they received a call from the people that were supposed to bring Guru Sahib Ji's Swaroop to the location. They asked, is there a back door? Can we bring and take out Guru Sahib Ji's Swaroop from the back door rather than the front? And this is where they started questioning and started wondering, well, what's the fear? Was it the fear that the Panth or the Singhs would show up and try to prevent this sort of event from happening? Why would people want to prevent? Why would it cause outrage? Then they asked different Gurdwara Sahibs, and they came into contact with Singhs, which actually gave them the full information. And when they realized this, then that's when they called that group and said that we have to cancel this event at the winery. And in fact, they went to a Gurdwara Sahib, reorganized the event, and politely and happily had the Anand Karaj take place at a Gurdwara Sahib. So what that shows is, one, the family actually put out a statement and said, we had no intention for this disrespect. We just didn't know any better. We were innocent in this. We were misguided. So the guidance, where it's coming from, who is allowing all of these things, we really have to begin asking these questions on why this is being allowed. Now let me give you a little quick example. The Queen of England, or the King of England now, rules all of England. In fact, is the king of the Commonwealth as well. But the king does not go and sit in every pub or any pub in the middle of the night. The king has a certain protocol on how that respect is kept for the king, how there's a king's guard, what location the king stays, how the king is supposed to speak. There is protocol around that to maintain the royalty of that king. Now, I want to give you an example of Sikh history where in the 1900s, Sant Attar Singh Ji was requested to bring the scripture of the Sikhs to Delhi, where all other faiths were actually asked to also bring their different srups, their different scriptures. And as some people brought the Bible, they put it on the table. Somebody else brought their Gita and they just carried it within their hands and just showed up. Somebody else brought the Quran, and as they were just holding it in their arm. When they asked, where is the scripture of the Sikhs? And when they looked outside, there was a whole Nagar Kirtan. There was a whole entourage, a royal entourage that filled the streets. As thousands of people are traveling, singing praises, as they are beautifully decorated, there is an army in the front. There is swords play happening. There is Panj Pyare in front with their swords unsheathed. And on top of a beautiful royal elephant, there's a Palki Sahib, this royal palkin, canopy. Underneath this Chandoa Sahib, there's Guru Sahib Ji Swarup Prakash. And on this elephant, on this tabya, Sant Attar Singh Ji is doing Chaur Sahib. They're waving the royal fan on top of Guru Granth Sahib Ji with thousands of Sangat escorting Guru Granth Sahib Ji Swarup to this location. That's when everyone realized, and they said, wow, that is what you call a king. Rajan ke Raja, Maharajan ke Maharaja. The king of all kings, the one that is sovereign, that no other philosophy can rule on top of this. In fact, this is not only the Sikh Guru that is in the form of a Granth, this is the Guru of all Granths. This is the king of all different texts and all different scriptures. That's how it is highlighted to the world. When Guru Harai Sahib Ji Maharaj would enter Kiratpur Sahib, how the flowers are thrown upon them, how there is 2,200 horsemen wherever they travel to. Where Guru Gobind Singh Ji is traveling, how in the Nagara, the royal and the war drum is being beat wherever they travel, how the Narsanga is being played, how the conch shell is being played, how there are war cries when the king enters the Darbar, and what that actually means. Now that same form in the Shabad Roop, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, that significance still remains. And just like the philosophy, the Bani, the Shabad Roop is in the form of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but the physical protection and the responsibility to carry out that respect is given to the Guru Khalsa Panth. This is a concept that's actually not discussed enough and is actually forgotten in many places in our diaspora. The Guru Khalsa Panth is the protector and carries out the physical duties of the Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. This is where the Panj Pyare come into play. This is where the Khalsa Panth in the form with their Bani and Bana, with living this aspect, carries out that respect for Guru Granth Sahib Ji. That's why it's within the code of conduct for Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj always to be accompanied by 5 Gursikhs. So when we are taking Guru Sahib Ji's Swarup to locations that have alcohol, that do not fit that code of conduct that would be in a Gurdwara. In fact, whichever house Guru Granth Sahib Ji actually goes into, that place becomes a Gurdwara. A building is not a building just because, we put a plaque in front or we labeled it something on Google Maps. No, that place is a Gurdwara because here, through this door, this is the realm of the Guru. Through this door, you enter and you interact with the Guru. This is Bakunt or Begumpura Shahr Ko now, ideally being manifested within this world. You cannot take the King of England or the Queen of England and throw it into every pub. You cannot disrespect that image. So then Guru Sahib Sache Pacha Swaroop is meant to be carried with that same level of respect. And in fact, the king does not bow down to our needs, our photo ops, our personal color decoratives that we want. Guru Sahib Sache Pacha Swaroop is sovereign within that. Let alone all the parliaments of the world, they cannot even compete or override Guru Sahib Ji. And that is the responsibility of the Khalsa Panth to carry that out. But in fact, in a personal way, we are subject to that. So when Guru Sahib Ji enters our location, we are the slave and the house becomes Guru Sahib Ji. So this is why it's seen as beadbi or sacrilege when we take Guru Sahib Swaroop. And in fact, it's actually been seen where Guru Sahib Swaroop is being taken in bags, in cars, in suitcases to far-off locations such as the Cancuns, the Mexicos, Puerto Ricos, even local areas within Canada, United States, England, you name it. Why? Because the business aspect of it is allowing. So that's why this discussion really needs to happen on where we're getting this guidance from. Because you as a family that really wants Guru Sahib's blessings in your life, it is a beautiful time when you are making a union with your significant other. As this union takes place, these two families gather, the two individuals are becoming one. Why wouldn't you want Guru Sahib's blessings on top of that? That's why you're coming to the Guru's house, to receive these sort of teachings and implement them in your life. In fact, to highlight this, let's discuss a little Shabad in Rag Asa by Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sahib Sache Pacha. In this Shabad, Mara Sache Pacha says, Gurdwara Hamra Vyaho Je Hoa, Janso Milya Ta Janya. When my wedding actually takes place within the Gurdwara, this is not in a random place where there's alcohol. This is not a random farm or a winery where you see it best fit. But no, when you travel and come to the Guru's house, you submit your head, you sacrifice everything, and you say, Guru, I want your blessings. I'm coming here in union for you. Guru Dwara Hamra Vyaho Je Hua, Janso Milya Ta Janya. When I came and met my beautiful Guru, my beautiful husband, creator, that's when I realized all the power and the beauty that actually existed. In fact, in Das's 14-15 years of prachar experience, I've met countless amount of families that have never actually had a chance to sit down with Gurbani until it was time for their Anand Karaj. It was time for their wedding. When they read the meanings of the Lama and their experience in that Anand Karaj was so serene, so beautiful, that actually brought not only the couple together, but brought them closer to Guru Sahib Ji. Because in the lives that they lived, they never had that opportunity before. So let's quickly go through what Maharaj is actually talking about here. They say, Kar kirpa apne kar aya, ta mil sakhiya kaad rachaya. When, through Akal Takht's kirpa, when God entered my heart, my husband, my beautiful creator, entered my home of my heart, then all my companions, the saints, gathered around me, and we came to celebrate this union of mine, where I'm connecting to the creator. Khel dekh man anand paya, saho viyahan aya. Seeing this beautiful play of the separated being connecting to the creator, and this union and the bliss that is experienced through this marriage, everybody is celebrating this. So what do? Gavo gavo kamani bebek bichar. All of the bridesmaids, they're singing. All the saints surrounding us, they are singing. But they're not just singing the songs of lust. They're not singing the songs of alcohol. They're not singing the songs of female body parts or what a groom's hair or eyes look like. No. Those may be the songs that the diaspora or the world is playing in their reception halls, at their destination places. Even the barat, the wedding party, is approaching the Gurdwara. These are the things being played on the dole. But Guru Sahib is actually saying the opposite. They're saying, Gavo Gavo Kamani Bibek Bichar. Sing those songs of spiritual wisdom, where you're diving deeper. Hamre kar aya jagjeevan patar. That the beautiful creator has entered my home. And what I'm alluding to here is that this marriage ceremony is not just a union between you and your significant other. No. This is actually the 4 steps to the union between you and the Creator. That's what the 4 lama are. The first lam, when you walk around Guru Sahib Ji, it doesn't matter if you're about the beautiful beach. It doesn't matter about, if the colors match the bride's the dress or not. None of that matters here. What matters is har pehladi lav parvirti karm dridaya Balaram Ji. In the first lam, where you've taken on all of these righteous actions, you've committed your life through the physical sense to this union. You've taken on those qualities and you've started walking the right path. In this video, I won't get a chance to dive deep into every single word of the Lama. That's for a different time. So listen to the Katha or following the Anand Karaj course for that. This is the first step, to actually go in and follow the right path. The second step, once you start following these steps, then in the second nav, there's Satgur Purkh Malaya Balaram Ji. This is when you meet the true Guru, because you've tried to find guidance for the spirituality, trying to fill this inner void of yourself, inside of yourself, from other places, but it's not actually being met. But now you found the true Guru that is actually filling you with this bliss. That is the second part. The third lam is talking about now you are experiencing this bliss. You don't care for the world anymore. This is where you've attained the state of Vairag. Upajya man Vairag jiyo. You've reached this state of detachment from the world, but now you're only attached to the Creator. This is where anhadatun, the unstruck sounds, are playing in your ears and inside of your heart, where the world is all poison and a doubt to you, but you're experiencing the true bliss that the world can never ever equal. And in the fourth stage, now you've truly become one, because now you've met the Abhinasi, the undying, the true form in this fourth lam. You've found the Creator themselves. So in this fourth stages, it is not the union between you and just your husband or you and your wife. Yes, because they have God's light within them. As you're getting closer to the Guru, you're getting closer to them. And in this union is not just of a husband and wife, but the spiritual soul bride that is merging and becoming one with the husband Creator. So two are actually merging in one with the Creator Guru. The Guru is part of this. It's a marriage of 3. And so when we sing this, Hamre kar aaya jag jeevan patar, now that Creator rests within my heart, and I understand this. He's come into my home, mere kar vich aage, in the heart of my home. Then this is where now Gurdwara hamara vyah jo hua, through the path of the Guru, in the Guru's home. When my wedding took place in this way, janso milya ta janya. Now I've actually realized what the Creator is. I found that spiritual wisdom. I've risen above the world and the pains and pleasures and all the problems that the world might be putting in front of me, all the doubts of the world. None of that matters to me anymore. Tehloka main shabad ravya hai, aap gaya man manya. Now that Shabad, which is omnipresent, exists all within the 3 worlds, my ego has been quieted by that now. My ego doesn't exist. So, my brother or my sister, ask yourself this question. When you want your wedding to happen at that beautiful destination, and even though the Sangat, the Gurdwara, the wise people, Akal Takht, through their Hukamname, everybody is saying, please don't do this. We're begging you. The world, the Sangat's heart is being hurt by this beadbi, by the sacrilege of taking Guru Sahib's Sroop to these locations. Is it really because of your ego, or is it because of something else? What is it that you're looking for in this marriage? Is it the connection to the Creator? For some people, it may be and it should be. That's ideally what it's laid out to be. Because in all times in your life, whether it be good or bad, just like Janam Sanskar, when a child is born, we sing the praises of God. We thank the Creator. When it's time of education, you learn education through the philosophy of the Creator, through the Guru. When it is time to find a path, a career path, a philosophy to adopt in your life, this is where Amar Sanskar comes in. This is where you dedicate your life to the Creator and in the mission of the Guru. Then when Anand Sanskar, when this time of marriage and union happens, it happens through the Guru's lens, through the Guru's gate. Then when we pass away in this world, then it's also done through the rites of the Guru. Just like Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj says, once I pass away, then don't cry. Don't pull out your hair. No. After me, sing Kirtan. Do Katha of Gurbani. These are the things that you should be doing. So through these 5 Sikh ceremonies that are so vital, these vital pillars to any Sikh's life, Anand Sanskar is actually one of them. It's not a rasam. Anand Karaj is not equal to your doli. That is cultural. Your Anand Karaj, your lama, is not equal to your melanie. That is worldly as well. Your Anand Karaj, your lama, is not equal to your manya, your jago, or any of these other ceremonies that you might be doing. You can do them or you cannot do them. It actually doesn't even make a difference. But in fact, the lama, this is a hukum given to us by Guru Sahib Ji themselves, by Guru Ram Das Ji reciting these beautiful words themselves. So that's why it's really, really important to understand the deeper meaning, to receive those blessings of Guru Sahib Ji on this occasion on which you're going to Guru Sahib Ji for anyways. So that's why, really ask yourself this question. Aap gaya man manya? Has your ego actually died through this ceremony? Because that's what the purpose of the lama is. The purpose of the lama is not to get the most Instagram likes. The purpose of lama is not to get the best photo ops, just like your older cousin did. These trends come and go. There are many influences that we don't actually even realize that affect us, that are just cultural, just inherited through generations of the world teaching us this is the way it's supposed to happen, but we don't understand the philosophy of it. And in fact, it is actually ego-based. Let me give you an example. In Punjab, there is a culture within Anand Karaj, within marriages right now, that is actually not very good. But at least the sacrilege of Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Swaroop doesn't happen. What happens when you go to a wedding in Punjab? Jadon Punjab de vich kite Anand Karaj hove, vyah hove, you get the wedding card, the Gurdwara's address is not even on the card. What's the address? It's the address of the palace, or what we would call a reception hall. People show up straight to the reception hall, they party, they drink, they go home, they said that's what the wedding was. Where did the Anand Karaj take place? Where's the wedding? Where's the ardas? None of that exists, because maybe a couple of members of the family, they go to the Gurdwara, they quickly skip that part. Sometimes they even pay the Granthi Singhs and they say, skip the Anand Karaj, just quickly do the ardas and let us go. Skip the Kirtan aspect of it, because they don't actually care. And unfortunately, this is a problem in the managements of the Gurdwara Sahib, which as a Sangat, if we keep allowing that to happen, then that's just going to carry on. And your grandmother might say, but this is the way we've always seen it. But just because your grandma has always been seeing it wrong doesn't make it right. Just because your grandfather says this is how we've always done it in the village doesn't make it correct. Because when the pendulum has swung so far in the wrong direction, sometimes it's important to create that awareness to bring it back into the right direction. So, Aab gaya man manya? Has your ego actually been dispelled in that culture? So what are we doing in the West? Now we see the Western culture doing really nice weddings where they're standing on the beach with the bride and the groom. They're at a sunset. She's wearing the beautiful bridal dress. And look, there can be cultural influences in the wedding, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even Gurbani speaks to these cultural influences and says, look how just like the wedding party is gathered, in the same way all my saints have gathered and they're welcoming me into my union to the Creator. Maharaj takes those physical examples, compares them to spirituality and says, oh my beloved Sikh, through this physical play that's happening around the world, see the Creator's play through it and make this a reminder to you on how this reflects your spirituality. So when we do those photo ops and we're trying to take Guru Sahib's physical Swaroop to the beaches or to our farms, and we're really, really resisting, then What is the real meaning behind that? What is the purpose behind that? Is our ego being lost then? Or are we trying to hold on to something? Ask yourself this question, why do you want it? And if it's, some people might not even care. They just want the photo. Nobody's stopping you going to a location and taking nice photos. Nobody's stopping you from taking your friends and celebrating and doing ardas in this beautiful location. But that cannot be equated to the Anand Karaj, which is a full sanskar. There is a difference between a rasam. The word rasam, which just means ceremony, which means ritual, which means custom. There is a custom where the mother, when the girl enters the home, she feeds the groom, she feeds the bride, and they enter the home. How she takes a thali and she puts it over the head of the bride and really makes her her daughter. How they sit. There is a custom where when before the wedding, the boy's mom takes all of the basin on the ground and puts that hand on the wall. That's not part of Gurmat Maryada, but she does that, and there are meanings behind that. And when as that is done, that is called a ceremony, that is called a custom, that in some villages it's done differently, in other parts of Punjab it's done differently, here in the West it could be done differently, and that's okay to do that stuff differently. What can't change is the Lama, the Swaroop of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and the code of conduct surrounding that. Why? Because your Anand Karaj doesn't surround around the handprint on the wall. Your wedding does not revolve around the doli. Your wedding does not revolve around the reception party. And sorry to say it, your wedding actually doesn't even revolve around your wedding dress that matches the curtains. It doesn't revolve around that. It doesn't revolve around the Lamborghini that you pull up in front of the Gurdwara, or it doesn't revolve around the how loud the toll can be, or how the brothers in the milni they're gonna try to pick each other up. It doesn't revolve around that at all. What does it revolve around? What do you revolve around when the Lama are actually being read, when the Kirtan is playing? You are revolving around Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Swaroop. And when we don't give importance to the Swaroop, then how can we expect those blessings to be able to enter into our heart, into our mind? So really ask your questions. Is this being done for my ego or is it not? So find alternatives to say, I will do the Anand Karaj at the Gurdwara Sahib, Gurudwara Hamara Vyaho Ji Hua, do it at the Gurdwara Sahib, full respect to Guru Sahib Ji. And then when it comes time to have beautiful photo ops, because it is a beautiful time in your life and you want to celebrate it, you want to remember it, then go take the pictures. Go to a beach afterwards, have all your bridesmaids, all your best friends, take your parents with you, take beautiful photos, do an ardas to give some remembrance to Guru Sahib Ji even there. That's a suggestion of mine. But that cannot replace the Anand Karaj. That cannot replace the actual Char Lama of Guru Sahib Ji that are being read there. So then Maharaj says, what sort of virtues do you want to bring inside of this Anand Karaj? Jit Karaj Sat Santokh Daya Dharm hai. In this task, within this marriage, where there is truth, contentment, compassion, and righteousness, Gurmukh Bujai Koi. The true Gurmukh understands this and they implement these virtues. So when you are fighting the Panth, getting your guidance from the wrong places, and taking Guru Sahib Ji's physical Swaroop to a place where there is alcohol, is there truth, contentment, righteousness, any of these things being implemented there? Jit Karaj Sat Santokh Daya Dharm hai Gurmukh Bujai Koi. So ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਆ, ਇਹ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਿਰ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਕਿ is this our Karaj? Is this our ceremony that we are taking control of? Or are we submitting to Guru Sahib Ji and saying, Maharaj, everything, not just our Karaj, you take care of, but our entire lives are submitted to you? Because the line before that is, Apna Karaj aap sware, horan Karaj na hoi. This Karaj that is happening, Maharaj, you arrange it. You take care of it. And nobody else can actually have a hand in it. The Guru Granth Sahib Ji Swaroop is the Shabad Roop, the form of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, their philosophy, it is their light. But the physical hands, the physical eyes, the tongue is in the form of the Guru Khalsa Panth. The Panj Pyare that are standing around Guru Sahib Ji, it is the form of Baba Buddha Ji, the Granthi Singh that is sitting and speaking these words through the Hukamname. That is why a Gurmat Rahat Maryada Anusar Isare Panth nu sambhan di lod hai. The entire Panth takes care of this and creates the code of conduct surrounding the Swaroop. To take Guru Sahib's Swaroop, now put this into perspective. The Panth is saying one thing to say this is disrespect to the Guru. And somebody says, I will open a company and I will take Guru Sahib's Swaroop, put it in a backpack and just take it on a plane. I'll meet you in Mexico, I'll meet you in Cancun, I'll meet you at the farm, I'll meet you at the winery, and make sure I can arrange for me so I can get through the back door. Because we don't want those things to be able to actually prevent this from happening. This sort of mentality takes all the blessings from the Guru Khalsa Panth away. Where we stand and do the ardas, in many weddings around the world, there's an ardas that happens where at the beginning only the bride and groom stand and the mother and father of both the bride and groom are standing. The rest of the Sangat sits down. This Gupt Ardas is taking place because this Ardas is not only in front of Guru Sahib Ji's Swaroop, this entire Ardas is actually in front of the entire Guru Khalsa Panth or the Sangat, which Sangat Har Prabha said you, because the Guru works through the Sad Sangat, that is reciting God's name. As they are seated, it is a promise and a request to say, when we go through difficulties, will you stand with us? But when we're going behind the Sangat's back and saying we're going to do it our own way anyways, then we are taking control and we're taking that right away from the Guru Khalsa Sangat. We're taking it away from the respect of the Panj Pyare, which is also the form of the Guru, which have a very important role in this marriage, in this community that is taking place. This is not even to discuss the Guru's house Maryada, just like we can't have chairs inside of Guru Granth Sahib Ji's darbar where they're all seated. But you can arrange for that in your wedding in Cancun in Mexico. It takes it away from what Guru Sahib's darbar is actually supposed to be. Rajan ke Raja, Maharajan ke Maharaja, where there is the pankta on the ground, where everybody's seated in one line and eating food. Doesn't matter how hi-fi you want to make it. The tables and chairs should not be there, where even the greatest kings, when they entered Goindwal Sahib, they met Guru Amar Das Ji, they sat down on the ground. Great kings sat down on the ground and were impressed on how equally everybody sat and ate this food. These teachings are not just important on our day-to-day when we go to the Gurdwara, but even more so, especially important at our pillars in our life, especially the Anand Karaj, the Anand Sanskar. So that's where Sat Santokh Daya Taram, these concepts have to be included inside of our Karajas themselves. So where there's alcohol, where there's drinking, where there is swearing, where there are songs being sung about lust and attachment, it's not Sat Santokh Daya Taram, it's actually Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, the 5 vices that are present. And that will just add to our ego. Panth Nanak sabna ka pir eko soe. That Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that Akal Takht is the true husband, and we are all in this analogy that's being given. We are all the soul brides, and Akal Takht is the true husband, which we are all marrying anyways. Jisno nadar kare sasu hagan hoy. That person becomes the true soul bride, merges with the Creator, actually gets to experience any of these things. So put this into our mind and help us understand to say, we want to experience love. We want to experience connection with our deeper self, with our spiritual root, especially in our Anand Karaj. That's why we want the serenity. We want the nice beaches. We want the nice farm and nature. In fact, there's actually nothing wrong with the nature. The nature is beautiful. If there was a beautiful piece of land jithe Guru Sahib da Satkaar kita jave, where there is a beautiful river flowing or an ocean, just like Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, they would establish many Gurdwara Sahibs at the edge of Godavari, at the edge of rivers, at the edge of sarovars. Guru Ramdas Ji's house is in a very beautiful, serene place. It's not the location that's the problem. The problem is the Maryada and the respect, where you take a king of kings and you drag it in through all those pubs and places where even the Queen of England would not even step foot or think about stepping foot. We have to uphold that responsibility of Guru Sahib's Darbar. So let me give you an example, because we actually do these things on a regular basis anyways. When we sit in Parliament, there's a rule: you can't bring your phone, your phone can't play, you can't be playing a sound. There's a code of conduct there. We adhere to that. When you go to a courtroom, the judge says, order, all phones on silent. You can only speak when being asked to, when you're told to speak, but nobody else can speak at that time. In the same way, it doesn't matter what prime minister, it doesn't matter what president, it doesn't matter if somebody's an MP, it doesn't matter if somebody's the richest of the rich or somebody's the poorest of the poor. In that darbar, sabna ka pir eko soye. Everybody is just a soul bride that is connected to the one Creator. We are all, whether you want to say we're all children of the Creator, we're all soul brides of the Creator, we are all slaves of the Creator, we're all servants of the Creator, we're all worshippers, we're all musicians of the Creator. We can use whatever analogies that we want. We are all butterflies or all bumblebees of the lotus flower that Guru Sahib Ji is trying to yearn after, that nectar. Whatever analogy we want to put into our perspective, we will revolve our lives and our heart around Guru Sahib Ji in those moments. So to take Maharaj outside of that and go outside of those boundaries and respects, it is our responsibility to uphold them. And just because somebody doesn't, and a tradition has become normalized to say, well, he does it, she does it, the other person on Instagram did it 2 months ago, that doesn't make it okay for us. And in fact, it is our responsibility to actually go deeper and say, well, how am I going to make the best of my Anand Karaj? How am I going to experience Guru Sahib Ji in maybe ways that other people weren't able to? How do I stand out and receive the blessings of my Guru, who is actually going to keep my marriage intact? So that is why we have to understand doing the opposite of it is actually beadbi, is disrespect to the Guru Sahib Ji. So now that we've understood why it's beadbi, now that we've understood why Anand Karaj is not just a rasam, it's an actual sanskar, it's a pillar that oversees cultural traditions, we have to take something that we do to other traditions, actually start applying it to ourselves. A lot of us, growing up in Canada especially, we've been taught in our school how British colonialism has impacted the native traditions all across North America, how they've been pushed to the reserves, how they've been put into residential schools, and how their traditions, their cultures, their beliefs, even their braids to that extent have been cut away from the Aboriginals of North America. And in our parliaments, in our protests, in our conversations today, we are saying, give them space, do not influence or break them away from their cultures or traditions. Allow them space where they can excel, where they can hold on to their cultures. Why do we not apply that to ourselves when it comes to the Anand Karaj? Why do we not apply that to ourselves when it comes to our languages, our bodhi, our cultures, the respects and the dharm? Because if we do not maintain it in when we're born, as we're studying, as we find our philosophies in our life, when we get married, when we have children, how we raise them, and when we pass away, when else are we going to implement the Guru, implement our traditions inside of our life? That is why it's important. If we're telling the Aboriginals or we're telling other people to maintain their cultures and not let colonialism in it, then make sure that the philosophies and the influences where we're getting them from, be a little bit aware. Where is that culture coming and why do we want it in that sort of place? Now, Akal Takht is everywhere. Yes, somebody might say, oh, you can't box the Guru in a room. Nobody is boxing the Guru in the room. The King of Kings travels with all an entourage, and the highest level of respect is given. That's why it's beautiful if a Anand Karaj can be taken place in a place where there is no beadbi. The Akal Takht Hukamnama Sahib that's stopping Guru Sahib's Swarups from being taken to places where regularly, even if it's not there at the time, but regularly if that place is being used for alcohol, parties, or things like that are being served at that time, that it's not righteous to take Guru Sahib's Sarup there. If it's a beautiful field where there's a pandal, laya jave, and utte sona diwan kita jave, nobody is going to have any problem with the Anand Karaj taking place. If there's a place, or even a Gurdwara Sahib, or a building that's, even if it's indoors, it's happening at a hall, and you take Guru Sahib's Sarup to this hall, but this hall is not a place where it's regularly on other days. Maybe your Anand Karaj is taking place on a Friday or a Saturday, but on Wednesday there was an alcohol party, on Tuesday there's an alcohol party, then that it's forbidden to take Guru Sahib's Sarup to that place. But if it's a hall where it's not used for any of those reasons, and it is in line with Gurmat Code of Conduct, then many smagams, many camps that Sikhs do actually do take place in places like this, and it is righteous to take Guru Sahib Ji's Sarup there. It is allowed. That's why I would make this request to you. Actually ask these questions in the planning phase of your Anand Karaj. Don't wait until the last minute and just leave all these discussions to your dad or your grandpa or somebody, your taya, your uncle, to just discuss it with the Gurdwara Sahib and do whatever they want, because they might not be getting the right guidance. Actually ask these questions beforehand in your planning phase, because the last thing you want is for the Sangat's heart to get hurt. And the Gursikhs, they will try to prevent the disrespect of their Guru. They will be happy to lay down their lives for it. And you don't want your special day ruined. I don't want your special day ruined. Because you've been planning for this day for months and months, may sometimes even years, for this wedding. So now I'm trying to educate you on this knowledge to say, this is why it's considered beadbi. This is how you can take care of it. This is how you can find alternatives. You can take alternative routes. If you have questions, ask the right questions. Educate yourself. Go and actually attend an Anand Karaj course. We offer it through Basics of Sikhi. Many Gurdwara Sahibs offer it. They offer it in San Jose, they offer it in Surrey. We have it online, we have it in the video form. Go and educate yourself. And here's some more tips on how you can take the best out of your Anand Karaj. As the days are approaching, go to the place where your Anand Karaj will take place. Start doing seva there. Start cleaning the shoes of the Sangat. Bring humility in your heart. Even if you've never ever done it inside of your life before, just try to experience it. Take the rag and in the shoe racks, start cleaning the shoes just dusting off the shoes. Take a pair of shoes, dust off the shoes and put it back. Do that for about 10 minutes, and in your eyes, don't try to show off to anybody. Close your eyes and just recite in your heart, Waheguru, Waheguru, Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And just as you're cleaning the shoes, experience the bliss that your mind and your heart feels as you are humbling yourself and cleaning those shoes. The immense amount of bliss and all the stress that's just being uplifted off your shoulders in those moments, it can't be put into words. Experience that days leading up to your marriage, months leading up to your marriage. Then, when the time comes closer, then start reading the meanings of your Anand Karaj. The Lama. Listen to the Katha of the Lama. The discourse, in-depth explanations of what the actual Anand Karaj actually means. Because through that, you will find the keys to success on how to maintain that marriage, how to make the best of that marriage. Don't just wait until your wedding day to be like, oh, I don't even know what's being read, and then just look for laughs and giggles. That's not the point. Make the best out of it. Educate yourself. You will want to experience that love in this very important, pivotal time inside of your life. And so, when we try to understand these elements, we will be able to take the best out of it and truly get to experience Guru Sahib Ji. So, it's very important that it's not only about a Maharaj's Sarup that's being taken to a destination itself, but even if it's happening at a local place or a local farm, key thing to keep in your mind is to ask at the venue, is at any point alcohol being served? What other sort of events is this location being used for? And if it falls into anything that we've discussed, where alcohol is being served, then avoid that place. In fact, I would like to highlight something even more. If you want to go to a beautiful place to do something, the most beautiful place to a Gursikh is the Guru's house itself, where the Guru is. Rather than taking the Guru somewhere, but coming to the Guru to receive the blessing. To main aaya, I came into your sanctuary. Sharni aaya. When I fell down into your sanctuary, Har paryo Swami ke dware, Dije Buddha Vivek, I fell into your sanctuary. I've given up my hopes into my life. In fact, that's what the Anand Karaj is actually referring to. When the Palle di Rasam is being given, you're not just being handed a really nice cloth from your husband's shoulder. That's not what the Palla means. It means Habbe Saak Kudave Ditte To Palla Tende Lagi. It means I've seen all of the relationships to be false. It's talking about that relationship between you and your husband. That is in fact a false relationship. It's talking about maybe you did not get along with your mother growing up. Maybe you did not get along with your father growing up. Maybe you didn't get along with your best friend that lied and talked behind your back. You've seen all other relationships to eventually prove themselves false. So now you actually renounce everything, and just like you grab onto the hem of the robe of your husband, both husband and wife are actually grabbing onto the robe of Guru Sahib Ji to say, Maharaj, all of the relationships are false. It's bucking, nothing matters. Maharaj is just you. I've given up on everything else. So now Maharaj, Har Priya Swami ke dware. Give me your palla, give me your robe, grab onto this. And so that's really what it means. To see everything as false. Maharaj, I've come to you now, thode kol aaya, thoda palla fad liya. So then, why are we still placing hopes in the world? Come to the Guru itself with this sharda. Ab hum chali thakur pe har, jab hum sharan Prabhu ki aayi, rakh Prabhu pave maar. Maharaj, when I come into your sanctuary, whether you keep me alive or whether you kill me, it does not matter. That's how much I've given myself up to you. So experience this when we come to the Guru itself, and experience it within the Gurdwara Sahibs. This is a discussion for you, for somebody that wants to learn and connect and experience love in this pivotal time of your life. There are two other conversations that need to take place. That is, maybe we'll discuss at a different time. One is for somebody that actually doesn't even believe that Guru Sahib Sache Pacha, the physical swarup, has any value. You might be like, it's just a book, what does it matter? I don't really care. It's my daddi that really wants the Anand Karaj. You could care less for the Lama, so you're just going to go do it anyway. That's a different discussion to talk about actually what the meaning of Guru Sahib Ji Swarup is, how it's important, then if really we shouldn't be making a mockery of Guru Sahib Ji. To say, we promise you this, I'll do all of these traditions, but then we're going to walk away and doing something else. That's equivalent to say, oh husband, I will be loyal to you. And the husband says, I will be loyal to you. I will not look another way. I will be truthful to you. But then really 5 minutes later, we do the exact opposite. What are the words that we're promising when the Lama are being read? That is why it's very important to understand that and implement that into our heart. So we don't want to make a mockery of Guru Sahib Ji either. And so it's important to put those teachings inside of our mind or those alternatives in place beforehand. The third discussion that needs to be taking place is on a management level, where how are we be able to offer these alternatives and these experiences that the youth and the Sangat want, but in a righteous way? How are these places how are the darbars being decorated? Because it's a darbar that has really off colors, tacky Christmas lights all over the place, and the couple that says, well, I don't really want to do my Anand Karaj here because this doesn't feel like the darbar of King of Kings, then why are we putting all of our money into tiles in the washroom and other things like that? Actually put the Satkaar towards Guru Sahib Ji's Prakash. And oh kinna sona banaya jave. How can we make Guru Sahib's Prakash look most beautiful so that anybody comes and enters the Gurdwara Sahib and says, wow, this truly is experiencing the King of Kings. It's not just you walk into the darbar, it's just a hall, and then after the wedding, once the Anand Karaj is over, everybody just starts talking and everybody starts turning their backs to Guru Sahib Ji. Everyone's standing in a line to give their shagun to the couple that just got married. Nobody's experiencing like the King of Kings. So how are we maintaining that law of order, that code of conduct in a polite, respectful manner Because if you allow one person to do it, then everybody's going to start doing it. Then across the world, that will become the norm. And how are we setting up and providing this level of education to everybody that walks through the door to register for Anand Karaj? How are we actually connecting them to the Gurdwara rather than just saying pay your $1,000 fee for the Gurdwara and you're good to go? So all these discussions need to be taking place. So it's my request in this video to dive deeper and truly experience the love of Guru Sahib Ji by adhering to the code of conduct and receiving Guru Sahib Ji's blessing in this way. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.